People didn't watch us in pre-season. Our 4-2-3-1 with Nkunku, Caicedo, Elise, and Mudryk is finishing second. We are actually playing fluid football.
I think we got to just wait and see how this all kind of because I just think like it's a bit of a tricky one because the reality is that looks good in pre-season, but Arsenal have and always will, in my opinion, play better football. Right now, they've got the better players, and Manchester City are Manchester City. To say you're finished second, you're looking for one of those two to kind of drop off at the moment, at this current moment.
Man City always play rubbish in pre-season. Man City always play rubbish.
Yeah, all the time, They even start off badly in seasons and win the season by like 10 points. So
I will say
this. I do have a question. Let me ask you a question. What's more like predictable position in the top four? Number one, usually the one for the past years, number one is used to be a most predictable position. Yeah. What about number two? Is number two always consistent?
No, not necessarily.
This number is what three, Alex. Number three, is that position always consistent? So when people telling me, "Oh, we definitely challenging," or "We definitely," please give me example of what? Because number twos and number threes, even number fours, are hard to come by nowadays. So when people are saying, "I'm gonna definitely challenge," "I'm gonna definitely do that," put the money where you go put the bank in, because for the past 10 years it didn't happen.
Give me 2 September.
That's my question to Arsenal. Please tell me, number two, you're number two. When is the last time number two sustained number two or got better? Liverpool, right? That's it.
Yeah.
I do hear where you're coming from. Wenger, as in money there, not spending, buying players you don't necessarily need, Gakpo, not adapting quickly enough, high line when not needed. Listen, I think we know what you mean by the Wenger comparison. I think the G, though, I think like people like yourself that want him gone, is it because you're worried he could end up like that, where look, Wenger's loved again now, but it's taken a good 3 or 4 years for people to get over what he did. It's almost, you want your manager to go out on a high, don't you? Not go out looking pathetic. It's in your team looking pathetic, not the manager himself.
Yeah, I think, listen, every manager for every single club, they play their role. Sir Alex Ferguson came in, knocked Liverpool off their perch. He done exactly what he needed to do for Manchester United at a time when Manchester United weren't nowhere near, as big as Liverpool. Jose Mourinho came into Chelsea, under the whole new Abramovich and everything like that. He put them onto that global stage. From there on in, they could get more or less any manager, and it almost didn't even matter. They still won league titles after, Jose Mourinho. So when I look at someone like a Klopp, I'm not saying that, people always say, but who do you want in? It's not about who do you want in. Ultimately, he's fulfilled his story. He came in, he did exactly what he said he was going to do, which is he'll get a league title. Ultimately, we're not a team, or I think a club, who are in that kind of position whereby we can go around winning multiple league titles and blah, blah, blah. And it's not going to be because of Klopp. At the end of the day, that could be anybody. It could have literally been anybody obviously of a decent enough level. And now he's reaching a stage where we're sitting there and we're watching this manager who looked lively when he first came in, young in the face, and all these kind of various different things. Slowly, other teams, and I've said this 100 times, other teams and other managers all of a sudden look fresher, look quicker, look like they can think a lot more, look like they've got a lot more ideas. I'm not even just using last season, because I was saying the same thing the season before that. Even when we were going for the quad, you can see that it was starting. Yes, obviously at the end of the day, you go for a quad, no one's going to say anything. Last season was then it all accumulated together. And then now, this season, we don't know. Rax is right. It's only been one season. For all we know, Liverpool go back, they challenge.
And then ask your question, bro.
Chat to me, bro.
Ask your question, yeah, fam. I can't lie. Do you trust in Klopp and your club to reinvest and to make the right decisions like you did a few years ago in order to fight at the top? So Chelsea fans have this optimism that guy keeps commenting about finishing second because the club has an ambition to buy the best players, Moise Caicedo, etc., to get there. Do you believe even if Klopp goes, your club will do enough to put you there, or could you plateau and in mediocrity, i.e., 6th, 5th, and get in that trajectory, or do you think that you hope that your club? What do you think?
Because I think obviously again it will depend like, I'm not saying we're going to go out, like, I don't want to go out there and get a Brendan Rodgers or, like someone of that kind of level. I do think if Klopp were to go, I think Liverpool getting a good manager. He won't be anywhere.
Deserby.
And when I look at someone like him, he's someone I look at and I think to myself, with the players that Liverpool have at this current moment in time, so your Curtis Jones, your Harvey Elliott's, Carvalho, who's out on loan, even a Thiago, they're more suited to his style of football. McAllister, who's just come in, they're more suited to that. They're not suited to the football that Jurgen Klopp was so famed for. And I think Zoboslai, another one, we're looking at what Klopp has got, this one style and this one thing. If a new manager with new ideas and, would I say, an evolved sort of manager were to come in, Liverpool can start moving with the times. The problem that Liverpool have had for the last 30 years is we do not want to move with the times. We like one thing, you stick with one thing. That's about it. I get it in marriage. That's how it's supposed to work. This is not a marriage. All I want us to do is be as good as we need to be. Do you get what I mean? Moving forward. And I just always feel that we get to a point and we're plateauing anyway. At the end of the day, it's still only been one league title. It's still only been one of those titles. So it's not like I'm sitting here. It'd be different if I was sitting here saying all of this and Liverpool had 3 titles in the 7 years they've been there. I don't really have an argument for that because you've won 3 titles in that time. All the backlash I'll get is, but you're 1 point off. The record books do not give a monkeys if you're 1 point off. The record books care about, who won. So.
Do you think it has to do with what's his name? Leaving the club when he did? What's his name? That director? Because I heard that there was him.
Edwards.
Yeah, him and Klopp. I used to get in arguments over signings, and that's why he left. Because the statue stopped because the profile of the players that you used to get before will fit right into this team. After he left, the players did not fit the system that was going, and I was remember because somebody told me that Klopp did not actually want those players. The one that actually, like Salah, he did not rate Salah before he came to Liverpool and stuff like that. So I just have a question if that could be the reason.
Listen, I think there's a multitude. Edwards, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think there's a multitude of reasons potentially. Look, again, I'm not trying to. Whether I want him to stay or go, I'm not going to necessarily write him off in terms of it's only been one game of the season. Anything can happen. I'm more the reason why I'd want him to go is just because I just feel you're not someone who's going to evolve. It's either my way or the highway. So we are praying that your way is literally going to get us to that kind of position. Whereas I'm looking at all these other top managers and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking everybody seems to have a second idea, a third idea. And you seem to be in a position whereby Michael Edwards is obviously left. Now we're looking at the situation and thinking he's got too much power, at the football club, and he's making certain decisions that maybe he's just not that qualified to actually do. Stick to what you're really good at, which is manage the football team. That's what you're really, really good at. Stay away from the other stuff because the other stuff you're not that good at doing so. And as you said, the profile of players I just named: Carvalho, Curtis Jones, Thiago, McAllister, Zoboslai. That is not a midfield, if any of you heard that, who are going to run more than they're actually going to play football. Whereas we know Henderson, Fabinho, Milne, right, Gini Wijnaldum, these are the type of players, yes, obviously Gini had a little bit of tech, but all the rest of them, they were all about, we've got the energy, we've got the engine, and we play workhorses. But now you're trying to do workhorse with technical. It don't work.
Funny?
I just wanted to say, I'm going to come to you in a second ago. Do you know what I think is really funny? It reminds me, he made good music afterwards, but Michael Jackson's music was never quite as good when he broke up with Quincy Jones. Exactly. Sometimes you have these relationships that work. So Paul McCartney, I can't name you a song of his after he left the Beatles, but he's had about 1,000 albums. All these things, sometimes it works, Big up, what's his name? Lionel Richie. He did some big stuff after the Commodores.
Gunner as well.
Sometimes, who? Sorry,
Gunner. He fell out with some of the man from YSL, and he still released a banging album. Shout out Gunner.
There we go. I don't know who that is. I'm too old. But no, listen, I hear you.